So we're on page Kuf Mem Hey, and we'll start from the paragraph that begins there again. We just barely touched upon it. What led up to the point that we are going into now is the question that we have the oil makif and we have the oil pnimi. Pnimi means internalized, means that it is focused on piula, on doing something, accomplishing something, affecting something. Makif means that it is just presenting itself, not with the intent of having any effect. But we pointed out that that's not entirely true, because Moy Makif also has a piula. So what is the difference ultimately between the oil makif and oil pnimi? This we already discussed quite extensively. And the principle is that the peula of oil makif and the peula of oil pnimi are quite different. And now we need to identify the difference. V'ho'inyan hu.
So what? Okay.
What?
Fourth line.
Right at the top. The first, the beginning of the paragraph. But Ho'inyan hu, the inyan is this. The hine, for behold, again, means recognize. Recognize by your innate principle of intelligence. B'chol dover, in everything, yesh atzmus v'hispashtus. There are two principal elements: atzmus, essence, v'hispashtus, and its expression. I want to call attention in the use of the word dover. Normally, throughout we use the word inyan and so forth. Dover is a very simple reference. Everything, a thing. What's the difference between an inyan and a thing? Inyan alludes to some kind of a message, some kind of a concept. Dover means something that is a standalone entity, a presence. In everything there is these two elements, atzmus v'hispashtus. It is important for us to recognize, right on the onset, that the very fact that there is such a thing as a dover, which means a standalone entity, completely self-complementing, is actually representing its creator. Something that develops inadvertently due to some kind of an effect, of reactive effect, does not become a dover. Never stands as a real entity. It is a constant state of change, of flow. A dover means that something is there because it was intended to be. And in everything there is atzmus v'hispashtus. There's the element of atzmus, the element of essence, and the element of hispashtus, of expression of the essence. We'll go inside a little bit further, and then we'll try to bring it closer to our understanding. The very important principle in this, b'chol dover yesh atzmos v'hispashtus, and we shall see as we go on. The gam for even b'oir ho'insoif, even in the oir ho'insoif. Oir ho'insoif means that it is Ein Sof by definition. And yet there too there are two elements. There too is Yesh Bechinas Ha'atzmus Ve'ein Sof. There's the Bechina of the Atzmus of the Atzmus of Ein Sof, the essence of Ein Sof. Bechina is a Hispashtus Shalei, and the element of Hispashtus of this Ein Sof. The Ho'atzmus, where the Atzmus, Hu Rag Bibchinas Gilum in Ho'etz. Okay, here is where we begin to have to acquire an internal view. The Atzmus is Rak, is only Bibchinas Gilum in Ho'etzem, only has only the quality of Gilum in Ho'etzem. Namely, Gilum in Ho'etzem means that it is stating that there is an Etzem. It does not have any quality of its own. It is a statement that there is an Etzem. This is the Atzmus. And then there is Ubechines and Hispashtus. Then there is the Hispashtus aspect. The Hispashtus hu shebo lifoil. This is what comes lifoil essentially to have an effect. V'zeho ma shenisboil yil perik nun bov. This is a direct allusion to what we explained earlier in Perik Nun Vov. The Oir Ein Sof Be'etzem, that in the Oir Ein Sof Be'etzem, in essence, even though it is Oir, but this is Oir Ein Sof, is the kind of Oir that there is a Shayach Shum Shem Klal. There it is not applicable. You cannot apply to it shum shame, any kind of a name, klal at all. What's the significance of this? Not shaykh shum shame, any kind of a name. What's so significant about a name? The principle of a name We know, for instance, that naming a baby is of great significance. A baby is named at the bris or by Sefer Torah. It's a whole focus. And we see in the Torah all the time. This name was given to this. All the way to the beginning of creation, when Hashem himself named parts of the creation. Hashem himself named day and night. Hashem himself named dry land and sea. Hashem himself named earth and sky. What is so important about this name element? And then at this point, at the same time, we say that in Oyer Ein Sof and Asmas Ein Sof, the whole union of name is not applicable. Not any shaykh shouldn't change. Not shaykh any kind of name. The first principle of name is that via the fact that he has a name, you can refer to him or to that thing in absence. You can refer to a person even in absence of the person, but you can refer to him. The person may be on the other side of the globe, and you refer to him by name. You refer to the real person by name. This means two things. First of all,
to remain on this call, press 1.
First of all, it means that his presence is not limited to where he is effective, to where he is, where he is identified, but he is globally present. Even miles away, there is also a presence of his. This is one thing. Another thing is that this name aspect, since that we are saying that we are identifying this thing in absentia, so you're identifying that which it presents for identification purposes, which is not its essence. And this is what the Rebbe is saying over here. In Oyer Ein Sof be'etzem, in Oyer Ein Sof, the principle of Oyer Ein Sof is extremely difficult to conceptualize. Forget about describing it. Because on the one hand, it's Oyer. Oyer means it's some kind of an expression. But then he says it's Ein Sof. Please understand, Ein Sof does not mean it extends indefinitely. So extending indefinitely is not Ein Sof. It continues to it's not in essence Ein Sof. It extends Ein Sof. It's not, so to speak, a definition of that which extends. It is how much it extends. It doesn't define what it is. Oil in Sof is a self-identity, like it's been learned before. If it is by definition Oil in Sof, it is not referring to its extension. It's referring to it itself, what it is. And even though it is oil, the name phenomenon is not applicable, because it does not have a presence besides its reality. In a shaykh shum shay. This is the pshat over here. And so, be'etzem in a shaykh shum shem. In essence, not shaykh in any kind of a name. In other words, it doesn't stand for anything on a functional level. And thus, naming doesn't apply. It does not represent it. It is not represented any play in any way outside of itself, even though it's a safe.
Yes, but we're discussing this whole thing, and Oren Sof is a name, isn't it?
That's
So I understand that we can define, we can describe, we're trying to conceptualize, but still we need a name to discuss it. I think.
I got a message from Moshe Silva. I didn't miss it. Maybe he wants me to call him.
You're not connected?
Huh?
They asked to put on the one, and it wasn't put in, so it was cut off.
Put on what?
There was nobody there in the conference, so it cut it off.
Have him call into here.
I know, that's what I do. Right now they gave me a message.
So maybe to call him back.
Let me in. Moshe Silva says, let me
Or
in.
let me in on the video.
Click.
To share. To video.
No, he
Oh.
hasn't been here. Okay, I'll write to him, don't worry.
Okay, right now.
And also conceptualize is an action that uses names.
Hmm?
When you said we try to conceptualize, but although we can't, but conceptualize is the use of functional words to try to grasp. I understand we're trying to grasp something.
No.
That is not graspable.
No. Oh, correct that. Trying to grasp that is a mistake by there. That's exactly what we said. This is not graspable, and even the intent of grasping it is already misunderstanding what you're looking for. This is what we say, oil in soif is not, it cannot be identified by any kind of a name, because it does not have a presence. We're referring to it because we're referring to it, not because we are really truly identifying it.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I tried to say before. I'm going to say it again, perhaps with more elaboration. You're right. We're saying Ein Ein Sof. So we're talking about something. We are actually using a name for Ein Ein Sof. Without repeating the whole question is like this. True, we're referring to it. But we're not referring to it because we have identified it. We're referring to it because we were told there's such a thing. Principally, like I said before, the whole phenomenon of etzem is a divine presence. It's not part of our world altogether. The world exists not because of its own resources. The whole phenomenon of the world, as it exists for thousands of years, and as we're observing it, we're observing an ongoing miracle. We're observing a divine action. We can name it, we can describe it. We are not really hitting it. So we're not really talking about the real thing. Because wherever we describe, it does not have a self-sustaining basis. Best way to illustrate that I found that it really kind of makes us think. If I'm holding this up, I made it many times, this exercise. I'm holding this up. It would be true, certainly not a lie, to say that this thing is right here in mid-space. But is it in mid-space? What is the correct way to refer to it? When you see this in mid-space, or you see me holding it up in space? You can't separate it from me holding it up. You can't refer to it itself in that form. That's what I said. In itself doesn't have a name. Of course, we refer to it, but that's not its primary name. This is not what's holding it in place. What's holding it in place is the Meibershen's will to create it. So we call it Ein Ein Sof. Ein Ein Sof essentially means this oil which I cannot define. That's what it means.
The point that you're making about the self-sustaining issue, and that's true of everything, no?
I don't know what you mean.
You seem to say that this is particular to Orient.
If you give something a name, means that it stands on this name is what gives it a presence.
Does seem like behind every knowable thing is the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
And we give them names, but behind
Because
them
the
is the
unknown is the one that the beginning of existence is from the unknown, from God.
That's what he said.
But yeah.
Hold over.
Yeah.
So in other words, there's two things. There's you holding the phone, and there's Hashem deciding that you should do it.
You mean I'm holding up the phone? Hashem enabling me to hold the phone.
Holding the phone's a mashal for Hashem holding up the whole world.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
So we already discussed what a moshel is. It is giving a tangible view of what it is that we're looking at when you see the world. And this is what we're saying, that in everything there is the etzem and the hispashtus. The etzem, we can't identify that at all. The etzem is what put it in simple terms, what Hashem identified it. Hashem gives it a presence. This is not part of the dover that we see. What we see is the hispashtus. The essence, this is we don't see. The pasuk says, "Hu Omar Vayehi."
Sorry, I'm having
What?
trouble.
Sorry. I want to click the button. Ne?
What time?
I want to click the button. Ne?
I don't hear.
It's okay, no problem.
You don't say click the button.
Okay, don't worry about it. Hu Omar Vayehi. So Vayehi is referred to what we identify, what we see. But Hu Omar we don't see. That is beyond our sight, beyond understanding, beyond our concept. That's where the etzem comes from. That's what the etzem is. In everything there is etzem hispashtus. Let's go the next line. This is we were touched upon this before. The be'erein seif. Okay, now we have the third line and the other third line. The be'erein seif be'etzem. In the be'erein seif be'etzem, in essence of the erein seif, on the fundamental truth, the fundamental reality of its presence. Ein shayach shom shem klal. No name is applicable there. As we said, the way a name means a universal presence. It doesn't have a presence, so it doesn't have a universal presence. Any seif is not part of presence as that we can identify it. We'll see further. Like I said, the Omar is not part of our identity, not part of our orientation. The result of Omar, but his Amiri is not part of our orientation. V'im lechanehu. If we should describe it and allude to it, b'shem, by name, Hareihu b'shem rotzein. That would be the way to be mechana, to allude to it, is b'shem rotzein, with the name of rotzein. Rotzein means will. How does that solve our dilemma? That the only way to refer to it is by the name of Rotz. So let's continue. Hakavona bazeh, what we intend to express and to bring out that we can give it a name, except if we are going to give it a name. The only thing that we can refer to it is by name, and rotzen, will. The intent is this: the bechinas ho'atzmos de Ein Sof, that the aspect of the atzmos of Ein Sof, the reality of the Ein Sof itself. Again, I have to reiterate and bring this back to our conscious awareness. We have to understand the world is a divine creation. There is not a presence of world but for the fact that it is being created. This being created, this is the essence of it. This is its reality. The beginners of Atzmos there in Sof in Shaya Beishim Shom Klal. The beginners is Hispashtus. But then there is the Hispashtus element. That's when you started in the beginning. There's Atzmos and Hispashtus. The Atzmos cannot be referred to by name at all, because it does not have a presence. In the realm of presence, it doesn't exist. Therefore, about the beginners is pashtus. At the level and the aspect of his pashtus means expression. Lefi shebo lifoil, because that it comes, meaning its intent and its purpose. Its effect is lifoil, to affect something, to make something shayach shom shame. There, the union of name is applicable. Because, not because of itself, but because of the intent for which it is brought there. Lifo. So there you can talk about the name. Avo, but, Rag, Shem, Rotzin. What kind of name? What is the level of name that you can give it? The name of Rotzin. Rotzin means will. How is that solved the dilemma? You give it the name of Rotzin, and that solved the dilemma of giving it a name. Okay, here we have to be careful here because we're going to have to go, so to speak, a little bit in circles. The name Rotzin is applicable there, is possible there. To introduce that, Rotzin seems to be implying, just by the term Rotzin, seems to be implying that there is a subject that he wants. He wants, that means that there is something that he wants. So it is not just him alone, it's him and that which he wants. So in our orientation, in our experience, him and that which he wants are literally two separate things. Because he wants this because of some kind of a reason, some kind of cause. He's hungry, so he wants it. It's not the reality of what he is. There is some kind of a compelling element outside of his reality that brings this will.
Being hungry is not a part of reality, of his reality.
Come on. Are you always hungry?
But when I am,
I'm asking you, are you always, how is that reality? Are you always real? When you're not hungry, are you real?
but when I am, that's part of my
When you are, there's nothing but the fact that you're hungry.
But it's still part.
What?
That's
A person who is hungry, what's his name?
I am hungry.
What's his name?
Hi, hungry.
Mr. Hunger?
Mr. Unger.
Mr. Hungry.
So what is it then? It's something outside of himself?
What's the difference? Is it him or not? You're trying to learn over here. I think it's so obvious.
This is from the Hispashtus, I think that's what it is. The perspective of Hispashtus, then it's outside. If it's going.
When you
Go ahead.
try to elaborate Ratson, you said it's him and what he wants, and you said it's two separate things. Could we fathom that him is Hashem before he created the world? Just to try to explain.
What?
Would it be a way to illustrate? I mean, him before he wants.
Let me reintroduce this whole shir. The reason we are given this shir is not because we have worldly experience, not because we know what it means to eat or to sleep or walk or touch, not because of any of these things. This is not the basis for talking to us on this level. This is why it begins with the word vihine. Vihine is calling forth your inner intelligence, not your experienced intelligence.